Good morning, KidSpring. I'm so glad you're here with me again. I have a guest today. That's Grizz, which is short for Griselda, if you're wondering. She seems very calm, but if you ring my doorbell, she goes a little crazy. Does anyone have a dog that doesn't like the doorbell? Well, it is our second week of February and our second week learning all about kindness. And this week, we're going to see how we can maybe have some patience and be kind to the people that are closest to us. Now, before we get started, I want you to pause the video and go grab a piece of paper and something to write with. Don't worry, I'll wait. Pause. Welcome back. You have your piece of paper, something to write with. This is my special Valentine pen. I also have my very special Valentine headband on as well. All right, we are going to take a moment and write down 2 things that happened to us this week, or we can draw a picture of it too. 2 things someone did that was kind for you. And then I want you to write down or draw a picture of 1 thing that you did that was kind for someone else. All right, I'm going to write. Here we go. You can pause the video. Welcome back. All right, so this week, the first thing that someone did for me that was really kind is I had a student give me a piece of my favorite candy, and I was not expecting it. He had asked me a while back what kind of candy I liked, and he brought me one of those little butterscotch candies, and those are my favorite. And that was really kind. And then I had a friend give me a little gift card to my favorite coffee place. So I love coffee. If there's anything you want to know about me, I love coffee. A lot of grown-ups love coffee. And then something that I did that was kind is just today, I held the door open for a stranger when they were coming into the store that I was at. So those are little things, but the more kind things that we do, big or small, the bigger impact it has in the world. Just think about all the little things that we can do that are kind for someone and how it might turn, maybe someone's having a bad day and we don't even know and we smile at them. That just can turn their day right around. So there's lots of different ways that we can show kindness. You can show kindness to your siblings. You can show kindness to your parents or your grown-ups, to your teachers, to the lunch and playground supervisors at school. You can show kindness to anyone that you encounter. If you're stopped at a stoplight and you're in the back seat of your parents' car and you look over, you can say hello, and that'll just make someone's day. But there's many different ways that we can be kind. Sometimes we forget to be kind, and we forget to, especially to be kind to the people that are closest to us because we're around them all the time. We might not always tell mom and dad, thanks for making dinner, but we just eat it and then we get up and we put our plate away. Hopefully you put your plate away in the sink and then that's that. But how much would your mom appreciate it if you said, thanks for dinner, mom? And it's so easy. It's easy to forget to do it and it's easy to do it. So we should choose to do it. So in this week's Story Lab, we are going to learn more about how we can be kind to the people that are closest to us. All right, I'll see you in a little bit. Look, I have another guest. That's Fern. Fern, come say hi. Come here. Come on. She's not cooperating, but Grizz is awake. Enjoy the video.
What on earth was she doing? So messy. Ugh. Hey, welcome to Storyland. Sorry, this place is a little bit of a mess. Today, we're talking about kindness, while we take a look at the story of a woman who really knew how to lend a helping hand. There is so much.
Oh, wow. Thank you for your help.
You're welcome. What happened?
I had to run to the garden store before they closed. Oh, Looks like you've already started. Hi, I'm Skylar.
And I'm Sebastian.
Today, we're talking about kindness, which is showing others they are valuable by how you treat them. As you've done by cleaning up my mess.
Anytime. So, what are you making and what did you have to buy?
I'm making seed surprises to give away when I go hiking this week. I'll leave them at the trailhead so anyone can take one home.
Seed surprise.
Yep. It's something that started in Japan. Seed surprises are actually called suchi dango, which means earth dumplings.
So, seedy, earthy dumpling surprises. What's the surprise?
An explosion of wildflower beauty.
I'm still lost.
You can help me put them together and figure it out.
Let's make it!
In order to make the seed surprises, you need all my leftover construction paper, water, a blender, cheesecloth, wildflower seeds, and some silicone molds.
And how does all this become an explosion of wildflower beauty?
First, rip up the construction paper into small pieces.
So this big?
Yep. And once the blender is about halfway full, you need just enough water to fill up to the paper.
Like this?
Exactly. Now, turn it on. And blend until it's a smooth mush. Definitely mushy. Now it's time to strain the water out.
With the cheesecloth?
Exactly. Ready?
Yes.
Now, squeeze out as much of the water as you can.
Oh, that looks like modeling clay.
Kind of feels like it too. Do you mind pouring the water out of the bowl?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got the bowl.
Time to add the seeds and mix it.
Did you wash your hands?
Always.
Then we put the seedy mush into the molds.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get flowers from my flower.
And I'll make a butterfly for our butterflies. Now, let them dry for 24 hours. When they're done, they'll look like this.
Then what?
Put them anywhere you want flowers, but do ask permission first. Just toss the seed surprise into a patch of dirt or grass, and as the paper decomposes, the seeds will open and flowers will grow.
And it's really cool that it uses up leftover scrap paper.
Speaking of gathering leftovers, it's time for
The story before the story.
Today, we're in the book of Ruth in the Old Testament. After God led the Israelites out of Egypt into the wilderness and finally to the land God had promised to them, the people were ruled by judges.
But even in the promised land, the people experience times when there's very little rain and not enough food. During one of these times, a man named Elimelech and his wife Naomi moved to the land of Moab, where there was more food.
They had 2 sons who both married Moabite women. After a few years, the 3 men died and the 3 women were left there on their own, which is where our story starts.
Take it away!
Hey everyone, I'm Padma. After Elimelech and his 2 sons died, Naomi, Orpah, and Ruth were left alone. But Naomi heard that God had provided food in her homeland, so she decided to travel back to Bethlehem, her hometown.
Both of you go back. Each of you go to your own mother's home. You were kind to your husbands who have died. You have also been kind to me. So may the Lord be just as kind to you.
No.
We're going with you. Why would you come with me? I have nothing to give you.
At last, Orpah said farewell and left to return home. But Ruth was not ready to go.
Don't try to make me leave you and go back. Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God.
Naomi could see that Ruth was not going to change her mind. So together they began the long, dusty journey to Naomi's home.
Naomi, is it you?
Are you really back? Where's Elimelech?
What about your sons?
What happened, Naomi?
Don't call me Naomi. My life is very bitter.
The women were astonished at how Naomi had changed. But Ruth continued to show love and kindness to Naomi.
We need food. Let me go out to the fields. I'll pick up the grain that has been left.
One of God's laws said that harvesters should always leave behind some grain that their neighbors could gather if they were in need. That's what Ruth was heading out to do. Gathering grain is difficult work. Ruth was in for a long, hard day.
Please, may I pick the leftovers?
Oh, our master is kind. You may gather anything on the ground that you find.
Ruth worked hard in the heat of the day, stopping only once to rest in the shade. As she continued to gather grain, the owner of the field, Boaz, arrived. After Boaz greeted the harvesters, he asked them,
Who is this young woman in the field? I don't recognize her.
Oh, that's Ruth. She's from Moab. She came back with Naomi?
I know Naomi. Elimelech was part of my family. I will speak with her. Ruth, you are welcome to gather here and in all my fields. When you are thirsty, get water from the water jugs. Rest when you need to. You are safe here.
Sir, why are you being so kind to me? I'm not even from here.
I've heard about your kindness to Naomi. I know that you left your family and your country. May the Lord reward you for what you have done.
Boaz even made sure that his men left extra grain behind for Ruth. When Ruth returned to Naomi that evening, Naomi was amazed to see how much grain she had gathered.
Where on earth did you pick up grain today?
I went to the field of a man named Boaz. He was very kind to me.
Naomi's attitude began to change.
May the Lord bless him. The Lord is still being kind. That man is a close relative of ours. He's one of our family protectors.
Ruth continued to gather grain from Boaz's fields, and in time, Ruth and Boaz were married. Ruth gave birth to a son named Obed, who ended up being the grandfather of King David and the lots of greats grandfather of Jesus.
The Lord be praised.
Thanks to Ruth's kindness to Naomi and Boaz's kindness to Ruth, Naomi was able to let go of her bitterness and welcome joy back into her life. The end.
Wow, Ruth was so patient with Naomi.
Patience is a great way to show kindness.
And by choosing to stay with Naomi, Ruth showed Naomi that she still mattered.
So, what's our part in the story?
No matter how much we love our family and close friends, sometimes it's actually easier to be kind to a stranger. We see our family and friends at their best and their worst, just like Ruth and Naomi. But you can still choose to be kind, even when someone you love is driving you nuts.
Yeah, when my brother gets grouchy, it's annoying. And then I get grouchy too, and then, I snap back at him.
Instead of being annoying back, you can say something encouraging or do something nice for him.
Yeah, to be honest, it's so easy to bug someone you love because you know them so well.
Like making annoying noises.
Or poking them in the arm.
Choosing kindness means you're not going to push any of those buttons.
Plus, you can choose kindness by thanking your family or friends when they help you.
Especially your parents, because they do so much for you.
Saying thank you is a great way to show them you value them.
Sounds like you've got it. See you next time.
Bye. So here's the thing. Be kind to the people closest to you.
It'll be like a kindness surprise growing all over your home.
Speaking of, I gotta get ready for my hike and give away these seed surprises.
Can I join you?
Of course.
Thanks for joining us in the Story Lab. See you next time. So, what kind of flowers are going to grow from these?
It'll be a surprise, but it'll also be beautiful.
What a great story. I'm wondering, do you have someone in your life that requires a lot of patience? Like maybe you have a sibling who takes forever in the morning, or a child that takes forever in the morning to get ready. Or maybe you have an aunt who tells you the same stories every single time you see her, and it feels so frustrating. You just want to say, I know, you told me. Or maybe your mom forgot that you don't like ham and she packed you a ham and cheese sandwich for lunch and you just were like, oh, come on. What do you think you could do in those moments instead of getting angry? Maybe we could just say, oh, it happens. Because I think, truthfully, we all require some patience at times, right? Have you ever had a grown up say, you're making me lose my patience? I think we all can afford a little more patience and to give more patience, just like we heard in our story. All right, friends, we are going to pray before we go. So let's fold our hands and close our eyes. Dear God, thank you so much for this time together. And we just pray for all the people that are working hard on our building. God, we ask you to help us to be kind to the people we are closest to as we go through this next week. We ask for you to help us remember to say thank you and to hold doors open and to have a little more patience maybe with somebody that is testing that in us. And we just ask for you to remind us that kindness is always the best choice in any situation. And we're so, so grateful for you. And we ask for you to bring us back safely next week. We love you so much. Amen. All right, KidSpring. I will see you next week. It'll look a lot different because our rooms are not going to be ready. However, our elementary kiddos are going to be able to meet up in the cafe, and I'm sure you're going to learn more about that later this week. But you guys have an awesome week, and I am looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye.